Hello YouTubers, this is May Chosen One, and I'm back for part 2 of what is to come. First I want to apologize for the delay in this camera. I'm using an old webcam, but I am in the process of getting a new one, so just please bear with me. Yesterday I shared 2 visions with you, and like I was saying yesterday, that I've always had visions and dreams and messages. However, I hadn't had anything that related to the immediate, as far as prepping and, getting ready for the end times, which I believe that we have already entered into a stage of the end time. That's my personal belief. However, there's something happening. I mean, they're allowing different shows to come on TV. And to me, it's, basically because they know, that people are waking up. People are not asleep. And they're doing things now. And for them to even have that show on called Doomsday's Preppers, to me, that's just a big wake-up call that everybody should be trying to do something. Put back some rice, some ramen noodles, some soup, whatever you can do. At any rate, when I first started putting back, or prepping as they call it, I had told my family, and like I said, they hear me, and they know that I can see things, but again, they're not closing their eyes to it, but I don't see that they're really going out trying to make preparation. But anyway, I was getting frustrated, and I was like, why am I doing this? I really was getting frustrated. Even though I know what I felt, I still was not, 100% feeling right about it. Like, this is really, strange, but I'm going to do it. But anyway, my mom is deceased. And usually when I get into a really, really bad situation and I'm stressed out, the Lord allows her to come to me in visions. And she came to me in a vision, and she called my name. And she said, "You're not crazy. Continue to do what you're doing and let your family know." And I told her, I let them know. And then I just hugged her, and I smelt her smell. And I was hugging her so much that she was talking, but I was just enjoying the moment, because I felt like it was a vision, but at the same time, it was an out-of-body experience, and I don't know how to explain that. But at any rate, while I was hugging her, my uncle, who had died when I was like 17, he was a minister. My entire family are full of ministers and people with gifts and things like that. And my uncle, who was a pastor, came to me along with her. Now, when he came, this is a God honest truth. His knees was like 8 feet, okay, from the bottom of the ground, up to the top of him. Oh my, it was gigantic. It was like just from the feet to his knees were 8 feet. But I wasn't scared. And I looked at him and I said, and I called his name out, "Uncle." And he said, "Yes." I said, "You're dead, right?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "And you come to tell me something?" And he had gave me a message for his son. And also, he told me, "I want to show you something." Now, what he showed me, I'm going to try to explain it the best way I can. It was like I was transported to my old neighborhood, and for some reason, I guess it's my comfort zone or something, because they always seem to happen in that area for some reason. I don't know why, but this is where I grew up, at. And it was snow and ice everywhere, and I'm talking about like Antarctica, like it was like some kind of like they call it polar shift or something, where we was in an ice age. That's the only way I can explain it. And I remember going to a local restaurant, and when I went in that restaurant, I was seeing people that I had worked with when I used to work for the federal government. They were working in there. And I was looking, and I was like, wow. I mean, it went from being, here to there. I didn't judge them, but I was just like, and it was like more than one, place. I have worked, at 3 government agencies. And, Andrews Air Force Base, Department of Treasury, and another one. And I remember seeing those people, and they were like, GS, like 12s or what. I mean, these people were high ranking, and I remember seeing them working in this restaurant, and then I remember I was leaving out, and everybody was leaving out, and my vehicle wouldn't start. But I remember, everybody was going about their business, and nobody even asked me that I needed a ride. They could see, that I needed a ride, but they didn't ask me that I need one. But I had opened up my trunk of the car and got out a bicycle, and I started riding home. And I remember I thought it was going to be so hard because it was ice, on the ground. I mean, snow, but it had turned to ice. And I remember just getting on that bicycle, and I was just sailing along, and it was no problem. And it was this busy highway. I remember getting to that and then going straight across that highway with no problem. And I take this vision as to mean that if you prepare and have a plan B, that you're going to be all right for what's coming. Even though you may think that it's not necessary, or you may not be sure, some of us, but we're doing it anyway, that we're going to be okay, that God is going to make a way and make our path smooth, that we'll be okay. So after this vision, I really was like, okay, calling people in my family and telling them. And, like I said, I don't think that none of them are still doing their thing, or they think it's way off, but I don't think it's way off. I'm not saying they don't believe me, because I believe that they believe me. I just don't think they realize how close it is. Okay? And a lot of times, people are always saying that the Lord will provide. But again, in Proverbs, it states that a wise man sees trouble and prepare for it. And, I just know that it's something going to happen. And I'm not on here to scare anybody, or anything like that. It's just that I feel like I needed confirmation. And maybe somebody else needs confirmation. Okay? There are a lot of people who's dreaming things like this. I receive emails of other people who are dreaming things like this now. Like I said, I've been a YouTube, viewer for 7 years, registered. For 5 years, since 2007. I never, ever recorded a video. And then now, all of a sudden, they got all these guidelines and this and that, and people probably saying, why now? Because now is the time. Now is the time that people need encouragement. They need to know that they're hearing from God to prepare. Get yourself ready for your family. If your family is not preparing, just do the best you can, because the Lord will stretch your food. Also, my son, I have 2 sons, and both of them are gifted as well. And one of them used to, he would watch me, put away, food or put back food. And sometimes he would joke, how young adults are. But one evening he came to visit me, and we talked, and he went and he lied down. He went to lay down. And he came running up out that room. And I knew when he came running out that room that he saw something. He hadn't been in there long, so he wasn't asleep. But he see visions like me. He closed his eyes, and then a movie will play out in front of him. And it's not something that we can control. It happens at free will. It just happens. But anyway, against our will, it just happens. But anyway, he came running out, and he was like, they call me Ma. He said, Ma, he said, you need to keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, why? Smiling, of course. And he said, because what I seen is going be bad. I said, what did you see, son? He said, we was on a bridge. He said, it looked like water had covered everything. But we was on a bridge. He said, it looked like the government was separating people according to age, sex, skin color. I mean, they had, religion. They had a lot of different ways they were sorting people. He was saying to himself, I need to get to where my mom was at, because at first he said I was on the bridge, but then it was like I had vanished or something. And he was like, I need to get to where my mom is. If I get there, I know I'll be okay. And he said it was quite eerie. He said because it was like these huge signs that were pointing different directions, and the military was in control, and it was just people just panicking. They didn't know what to do. And he said, just keep on doing what you're doing. And that made me feel good, too, because that was a confirmation. Because at first he was like, he'd come over here and he'd just start picking, laughing and stuff. But I guarantee you he don't do that anymore. He asked me, what have I can't, or, whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to share part 2. There's more to come. Because now it's like I'm just getting, all types of messages and visions and things like that, and I wanted to share with everyone so you can be encouraged. Thank you for watching my video. May God bless you, and may heaven shine upon you.